All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And I've been, for the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development 1100 Programming Fundamentals with C# course, I have been creating a series of video presentations based on the PowerPoint slides for the textbook we're using, which is Murox C# 7th edition, which you see right here. So far, I've gone through the first 7 chapters and chapter 11, and now I'm to the 4th part of chapter 8. So as you can guess, after I get done with this, I'll do 9 and 10, and then I'll have to do section 3, then section 4, and end up with section 5. Okay? All right. So what I want to build is something that looks basically like this. So I'm going to do that before your very eyes right now. I actually have the program done, but I'm going to redo it. And for the first time, what I'm going to do is, this is the one that I had just finished. So this is the console application. All right, and I'm going to do a file, save all. Okay, and then I'm going to close this. And I'm going to come to my solution, right mouse click, choose Add, New Project, and this will be a Windows format. All right, so I want the Windows format for .NET Framework. Next. And what are we going to call this? I called the last one, see, was called console array, so we'll call this GUI array. Okay, and I'm going to make it take up about as much of the screen as I can. All right, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add a list box. Now don't worry if you don't know what a list box is, because it's part of the subject of the next chapter, so we will talk about it. Hopefully this will be big enough. And I can actually make it fairly narrow, about like that. Now I want to make a dozen buttons, and they're going to be bigger because I want you to be able to read this stuff. So hopefully when I come in here, I don't know what size this is going to be. What I've done in the past is, if you remember, as I come in here and I make this 18.25 and bold, right? But I don't know if that's going to be too big, so I may have to cut down the size after we create them. Okay, but let's make my button. So I'm going to make the first button. And as I've already told you, there's going to be, I'm going to make them nice and big. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make that so we'll get these pretty kind of standard looking. That's not bad. And then I'm going to copy these, paste them, and make 6 more. There we go. So that's my interface. Now I've got to name everything, and you know that, and I know that. So let's come in here, and first, hopefully this will work okay. Do a Control A, and I'm going to lock my interface into place by doing a lock controls. And then I'm going to start naming things. Now I want this to be a little bit colorful. So I'm going to change the back color of my form. What's one I haven't used yet? Here's an orangish. Not the prettiest, but that'll work. And we'll keep the buttons gray. We'll keep the list box white. That should be fine. So let's, as we always do, let's first rename the form. And you notice on the last one we didn't, because there is no form. So we'll go to rename here, and I'll call this FRM array GUI. I don't know. That's fine. And yes, I want to rename it, and for the text, I'll just do the same thing. I'll put array GUI up here. And there that is. I know it's a little hard to see, but so now I've got my form. Now for my list box, I'm going to just, it doesn't really matter what I call it, but I'll call it LB for list box array. That's fine. So that's done. And now I have to start with my buttons. So this first one, I'm going to call this BTN new numbers. And every time I click that, I want to get 25 new numbers in here. All right. And I want it to say new numbers. All right. This next one is going to be, it's going to clear the list box if for some reason I want to do that. So clear, oops, the name will be BTN. I'll just call it clear. Okay. And I'll put in here for my text, clear list box. All right. My next one will be sort ascending. BTN sort ascending. And I'll have it say sort ascending. The next one will be BTN sort descending. And its text will be sort descending. Oops. All right, then we'll have a search, and that'll be our binary search. And let's just call it what it is, which is a binary search. Gotta spell binary right. This will be my exit button. Let's see real quick how this looks if I make this 18 for my font size before I go do all of them. That's not bad. And the bold, so that's okay. That works okay as far as I'm concerned. All right, and then this is going to be the sum. And we will put here sum of array elements. Oops. This will be BTN AVG. And this will be AVG of array elements. All right, and then this will be the BTN smallest, and it will be the smallest array element. This will be BTN largest, and this will be my largest array element. This will be the median. And it'll be BTN median. And this last one will be the range. And it will be BTN range. All right, let's highlight these, make these 18. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up. Looks like that'll still work okay. And we'll bold it. All right, so there's our interface. Didn't take too long. So now I'm going to start putting in all of the code. All right. Now, I'm just, for now at least, I'm just going to be double clicking on the buttons so that I can bring that stuff up. There's the first one. So there's my new numbers, clear list box, sort ascending, sort descending, binary search. I'm going to do the exit one last. So the sum, the average, smallest, the largest, the median, the range, and the exit. Now for the exit, I'm going to, since I've already pre-written a bunch of this code and used them in other projects, I'm going to do that. So here's my exit button code. So let's put that in. Okay. And let's also put in the code for our clear, because that's pretty simple. That'll just be LST, not LST, LB. Actually, a list box typically goes by LST and not LB. So I'm going to change this to LST. Okay, LST array, I like that better. All right, and for the clear, LST array dot, what is the clear? Is it items dot clear? I think that's right. So let's see right now when I run it. Okay, let's do a couple things here. As always, let's click on the form, set our start position to center screen. All right, let's do, we don't have to do these, but let's do our, every time we hit the enter key for accept. So for our accept button, notice we got a lot to choose from here. We'll just do the new numbers, that's fine. And for the cancel, we will have that be the clear. And we will do our tab order. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And again, view tab order. Let's go to the code window so when I run this, it'll look decent. And remember that, of course, it ran the last program. It ran the console. So I have to right mouse click on my project name and choose Set as Startup Project. All right. Okay. So that's there. No, I don't want to search, but can I come in here? I can't add anything yet, but to clear it, at least it isn't breaking. All right. So let's exit. So we got a start. Not a great start, but a start. All right. So let's go on to here. I'm going to remove these and kind of do the way we've done this before. So in other words, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set up my global constant exactly like I did before. So that'll be const int, I don't like max array size, I'll just call it max size, and I'm going to set that equal to 25. All right, I'm not going to put a lot of comments in here because I did in the last program. So now I'm going to declare my global variables. And I'm going to give these different names. So I'm going to call these int, bracket, bracket. I'm going to call this original. So I have the original array equals new int of size, max size. And I'm also going to have another one that I'm going to call modified, and there. So that'll be the one that I work with all the time. I'm going to have an int in here for the sum, and again, I may end up changing these. Just set that equal to 0. Another one for the average. That should be a double. I'll make that equal to 0, 0.0. I'm going to try in here to make sure that I take these and I make as few global variables in here as possible. All right. And I'm not going to write comments. Hopefully I'm using names where they will at least make some sense to you. All right. So the first one that we've got here then is new numbers. Okay. And that's going to call display array. That doesn't exist, so I'll put it right here. Private void display array. And you've seen this kind of thing before because all I have to do is write my for loop. Yeah, equal original dot length LCV plus. That's fine. I don't like using that way, but I'm going to anyway. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so there's that. And to display them, I'm going to give the name of my list box .items.add, and I'm going to add the element. Okay, that's fine. So that'll display the array. And that's all I have to do there. So that's the first thing. So let's see, am I missing anything here? Again, I like plus LCV and not LCV plus. That actually runs faster the way that it's written. Okay. So I've got that. And you know what I'm going to do first is I'm going to write another routine called clear list box. Now it isn't written yet, so I'm going to get an error. So let's write it right down below. Private void clear list box. And it'll just say, I think I even wrote it down here before. So my clear routine can now call clear list box. There we go. All right. I'm still not going to run it yet because if I do, I haven't generated the new numbers yet. Okay. Let's add some comments in here. I don't want this to be taking 1.5 years to write. All right. But let's put what I call, it's not my name, but what we typically refer to as a function or method prologue here. This method displays the contents of the original array. I'm putting the wrong one in here. What am I doing? This was new numbers. This is if I want a new one. This display array, that goes here. Okay. Right comment, wrong place. So this method displays the contents of either the original array or the modified array, depending on the method that calls it. Okay. All right. So for my new numbers, that's right here. This method generates 25 new random numbers between 1 and 100 and puts them into the original array. As the numbers are put into the original array, they are also copied to the modified array. All right, so let's do this. So I'm going to say random, I like R&D, equals new random. All right, that is seeding the rand. It just makes sure that the numbers are as random as they can possibly be. All right, so let me grab this. So 25 times, I want to go fill these two arrays. So these two arrays are called original and they're called modified. And I want that to be next int. And I want it to be between 1 and 100. You've seen that before. All right, what doesn't it like? I think it's just next. It's not next int. I think that's right. Okay. And then I want to copy it. I want these to hold the same thing originally. So modified LCV equals original LCV. So let's put a comment in each one of these. Generate a new random number and add it to the current original array element. All right. And copy the current original array element to the current modified array element. Okay. Then we want to call display, not diapers, display array. And we have to tell it what array to display, and it's the original. Now, display array in here, I didn't put that in, but it's going to need an array. All right, so int bracket bracket the array. All right. All right, let's see what we have so far. Okay, so let's see. I think it'll work, but we'll find out with what we've done so far. So let's do a save all. Now, there's nothing in here now, but let's put in new numbers. There's our 25 numbers. Clear works. There's 25 new numbers. Okay, that looks like it's working. Now, one thing I want to do that you haven't seen yet in the programs I'm done is I want to make sure that I call my new numbers right when the program starts so there's numbers in there originally. So in my form load event, I'm going to call, I don't remember what it's called. See, here's part of the problem. Jeff goofed up. There's nothing wrong with what I've done here. This is all correct. All right. but I don't want to put this in here. I want to call generate and display new numbers. Okay, and if you say, why are you doing this? I'm going to show you at the end of this. So there, whoops, not there. Darn it. Oh boy. There. That's okay. Okay, so right when the program runs now, hopefully, I'll have 25 numbers in my list box. Let's see if indeed that's correct. So let's save all, run it, and do I have 25 numbers in here? No. That ain't good, because they should be in there. The new thing works. Notice I can keep putting in new numbers. I can clear and put in more, clear, put in more. All right, but why isn't this working? So let's look in here in what I just added in my load. Oh, because I didn't call it. All righty. So that was now called generate and display new numbers. Now let's see if I've got it in there. There you go. That's a little cleaner to start. I'm not starting with an empty list box. Okay, so that's done. And I can exit. All right. Now let's just keep going. So we'll do them in order. So we've got our new numbers by calling generate and display new numbers. We've got our clear list box, which calls clear list box. And next is sort ascending. So the next thing we will do, as you guess, is we will sort in ascending order. All right. So let's see. And normally I would be writing this all from scratch. It's been a long day. That still is a rotten excuse, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to call sort array ascending, which doesn't exist, which is why I'm getting an error. And in just a minute, I'm going to write sort array descending, which also doesn't exist, so I'll get an error. Let me comment that one out. And down here, let me write private void sort array ascending. Okay. And in here, it's not really going to be very long. I'm going to say array.sort, and I want to sort my modified array. Then I'm going to call display array, and I'm going to pass it my modified array. All right. And the good news is, for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. So I can undo this now, and I can write private void sort array descending, and after I do the array.sort, I'm going to do an array.reverse of modified. All right, so I'm getting the error because I spelled void wrong. So let me come in here and add a few comments, because you can see it's being very devoid of comments here. This method clears the list box. Pretty obvious by its name, but that's okay. This method is run when the clear list box button is clicked. Okay. This method calls sort array ascending, whatever it is. How about we'll do it like this. This method is run when the, what did we call that? Sort ascending. Whoopsie. When the sort ascending button is clicked. All right. This method sorts the modified array in ascending order. And then I can copy these comments and just change the ascending to descending. And I can copy this comment, and again, just change it from ascending to descending. And then I will run the program to see where I currently am. All right. Now, this is not good. Okay, there we go. All right, let's run it. Okay, I can put in new numbers. I can clear the list box. Now, let's just quickly look at it. There's a 1. There's a 5, there's a 7, and there's a 9. So when we 1, 5, 7, 9, 9, yeah, it looks good. And how about descending? Does it go 85, 83, 72, 68? Yes, it does. So right now, the first 4 and 5 really of my buttons are working. So let's do the binary search. In fact, let's do the binary search last because it's the longest. All right. And not that I want to put it off, but I guess I do. All right, so let's go to the sum of the array elements. In fact, let's just go to the highest and the lowest. We'll do that. We'll do these next. I'll do the smallest and the largest, or highest, lowest, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say here int smallest, and I'm going to assume that the smallest is my first array element. So it is original 0. Okay? And then all I'm going to do is write a loop. And I'm going to say in this loop, don't worry about that, I'll fix that error in a second. If, that'll have to be original here. If original LCV, I have to check to see if I have a new smallest, is less than smallest, smallest equals original LCV. So I've got a new smallest. So let's put a comment in here. This, in fact, because I'm not doing a good job here of a lot of things, but this method is run when the smallest array element button is clicked. And let's grab all the code that's in there. And we'll put it in, we'll call this find and display smallest array element. Okay, and we'll write that right below. Move this over so I give myself a little more room here. Move this over as well. There we go. All right, now I'm going to put that code back in here, and we'll just use a message box. So I'll say here, let's write our show message. So I'll put in here show message, and it'll need a title, right? And it'll need some text. So this will say the smallest array element plus, put this down below here, smallest and smallest array element. Okay, we got all that. We're getting the error because we haven't written that routine yet. Let's be a little crafty here. And I'm going to go back to my console, and I don't have one in there, so forget it. So let's go down and we'll write show message down at the bottom. Private void show message. It will need a string for the message, and it'll need a string for the title. And it'll be messagebox.show, and it'll have everything in here basically already, except I don't want that thing to be error. I'll just make it information. So I'll have my message, my title, my OK button, and something in here that will just say information. All right, we're doing well here. All right, I'm going to grab this code and everything that's in here, everything, and I'm going to copy it underneath my largest, put it right there, and this will be find and display the largest array element. And as you can guess, this will be largest. This will be greater than largest. This will be largest. This will be largest. So will this. And finally, so will this. All right, so all that stuff is done. This, for my largest array element, let's copy the comment. This is when the largest is done, and this is called find and display largest array element. There we go. All right. Well, so let's do a file save all, and I may have missed something, but I don't think I have, so let's look. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 work in here, and if we're right, these two should work. Okay, so let's look. There's my numbers. Now, I'm not going to sort first. I'm going to go right to my smallest. You can see that it's 1, and my largest is 99. So my smallest is 1, smallest array element. My largest is 99. And even if I sort them, smallest is still there. Or if I sort the other way, the smallest is still there. The largest is still there. And the largest is still there. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my 12 buttons working. Okay, that's a terrific start. All right, I'm not sure where I am for time. I'm at 40 minutes. I'm going to see if I can do all this in one lesson. All right, so Let's see. Let's do these two. All right, then we'll only have the median and the range to do on these. So on here, let's put in our comment. This method will run when the sum of array elements. All right, so this will call calculate the sum, which hasn't been written yet, so that's not a problem. All right, let's write it. How about calculate and display? So let's do private void. All right, so this method will calculate and display the sum of all 25 array elements. So again, I'm going to come down here and quickly look for a for loop. All right, the boss came in, so let me grab this and copy it. And let's go down to our calculate and display the sum. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to say int sum equals 0. And not the array here. This will be, doesn't matter which of the two I use. So I'll use the modified one. That's fine. And this will be modified. And this will be sum plus equals. Not dumb, but sum. And then I did come out here before, and I know I put in a message box statement. Where is that? So this is my calculate and display the sum. So this will say the sum of all array elements. That'll be sum. And this will be the sum of all array elements. Oh, that was spelled right. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so let's see if that works. Now, assuming that your average will be around 50, the sum should be somewhere around 1250 if I did this right. 1188, that's probably correct. All right, now to try to make this a little easier on myself, let's do the average. Now, one thing about this is I've got this calculate and display the sum. Okay, I'm going to put a flag in here. I'm going to put a Boolean variable in here that says, I'm going to call it average or not. Okay, what does that mean? Well, that means that when I call calculate and display the sum here, I'm going to pass in false. Okay? And when I call, now I want to call calculate and display the sum, but I want to pass it true in this routine. Now you might say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, now I've already got the routine with my sum in it. Okay? but I only want to display this. I only want to display that if average or not is true. So I'm going to say if it's not average or not, then I want to print this. Else, I want to print the sum. I'm sorry, the average. All right, so otherwise, I only have to do this here. I can say, let's do the average. So double, 8, whoa, hello. Double AVG equals 0.0. All right, again, because I'm a little anal about this stuff. There we go. All right, so I'm going to come in here, and where are we? This will be average. This will be average. And I can pretty this and make this a .to string. What doesn't it like there? There we go. And this can be an average .to string. And I'll put that to 2 decimal places. All right, but now I can figure out the average. So I can say the average equals the sum, but I'm going to cast that as a double, divided by, which I'm using modified, so modified .length. All right, now let's try them both. So the sum is 1219. Taking 1219, let's see how close I am here. So let's go to a calculator, and 1219 divided by 25 should give me 48.76. That's exactly what I get. I got to change that. That shouldn't say sum. That should say average. There. So now looking at it, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of mine done. So I've got to do the median and the range. The range is pretty easy because the range is the biggest number divided by the smallest number. All right. So I'm going to sort. I don't have to, but I'm just going to do an array dot sort, and it doesn't matter which array but I have been working with a modified one. Modified. All right. And then let's put down, let's see, high value equal modified, oops, don't want to do that. Array.sort unmodified. Okay. I'm going to make an int variable called the range, and I'm just going to set it equal to 0. All right. So now the range is equal to modified of modified length minus 1. So that's the biggest number, minus modified 0. And let's grab one of our show messages. And I'll say the array element range. All right, let's try that. Now let's put it in ascending order. So the range here should be 99 minus 6, so it should be 93. And indeed it is. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of my 12 done. All right. Now the median is the one in the middle. All right. So I'm going to, in fact, let me do this. And I will call this calculate and display the range, which will give me an error because it hasn't been written. All right, so why does it give me an error? If I could spell, it wouldn't give me the error. There. Okay. Do the median next. The median is the one in the middle. Technically, we do have a middle here because if it's 25, there's 25 elements. Element 12, remember it's starting at 0, is the one in the middle. So I'm going to grab this. It's almost the same. So that'll be median. Okay, and we'll call this the median. Sort it, and the median is equal to modified 12. No either. All right, let's see now what that looks like. Well, it looks like there's an error. Somehow I lost my curly brace. Let's try it now. Now, if we do sort this, the median should be the one in the middle. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Should be 41 if I did this correctly, and it is. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of these are done. I must be buttoned up on an hour, and I am. So I'm going to see if I can do the last one, and it'll run a little bit longer. All right, so the only thing, again, that's left is to do the median. All right, and we're going to do that right now. Now, as you'd guess, or probably guess, there's a lot of ways that most of this stuff can be done. All right, and I mean that there are a lot of ways that this stuff can be done. Some of them are possibly at least better than others. But I'm going to do the one for the search now. I'm hoping very quickly look at this. I'm hoping I put in comments everywhere. Notice the only thing that's left are the sum and the average. I don't need those anymore. Boom. So those are gone. And I'm looking. So this method will generate 25 new numbers for the original array and then copy each element to the modified array. All right, I'm just trying to make sure I've got a lot of documentation in here. So maybe it's not the best documentation, but at least there's something everywhere. All right, so this will run when the search button is clicked. I'm just going to call this perform and display search. I'll write that down here. All right. Need another comment here. Yeah. Okay, so I've got to write that, and once we write that, we should be finished. Now, when we do this, there are different ways that we can do this, but I'm going to show you something because I think it's cool. You may or may not agree. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort our array. So, sort the modified array. Array dot sort modified. All right, that's first thing. Now, technically, I can go and I can use a message box, and I can use it like it's an input box, but I don't want to do that. There is no actual input box function that is built into this language, C#. But there is one in its sister language, which is visualbasic.net. So I'm going to show you how we can bring that VB thing into our program. So I'm going to right mouse click there on the name of our project, and I'm going to go add, and now I'm going to choose for the first time reference. And in here, I'm going to look, let's see, assemblies. I'm going to look for Visual Basic, and there it is, Microsoft.VisualBasic. And I'm going to check that, and I'm going to click OK. That's all I did. And now I'm going to be able to add that capability by putting in one statement at the top of my program, and that is using Microsoft.VisualBasic. So now I will be able to bring that functionality into my program. Right? It's gray right now because I'm not using anything in there yet. All right, so let's bring that in. Oh, where are we? You can see we're by the time we get done with this, we're just about at 300 lines. We'll be at about 350 lines, 330 lines, something like that when we get all done. All right, so what do we have here? Sum. Let's do this. Search. There we go. All right, so we do our array.sort. And let's see. I must have, I'd say about 20 or 30 lines in here. So I'm going to make a string, and I'll just call it str, and it's going to be equal to interaction dot input box. This is the thing that we just brought in from Visual Basic. And I'll say number to search for. And it'll say search. And I'm going to try to put it somewhat in the middle of the screen. Now, I may have to jack with this number a little bit, but this is the default. I'm going to say 50. So if you don't say anything else, it'll search for the number 50. But I'm going to put it in location 450, 200. I might have to change that. Okay, so there's that string. Int, so that's the str. Val is going to be equal to, I want to take that convert dot toInt32 of the string. Now, when it says what do you want to search for, if I put hello in there, the program's going to break. I've already shown you how to handle that in other programs. I'm trying to keep this to somewhat manageable length. So, int result equals array dot binary search. I'm going to search the modified array, and I'm going to search for that value. Now, what's going to happen is if it returns a result that's less than 0, all right? If it returns a result that's less than 0, it's not there. Usually it'll return -1, but let's just change this to if result is less than 0. All right, we're going to do our show message, and we're going to say the value, that was val dot to string. So the value was not found in the array. And we will put in there search value not found. Doesn't like something. Oh, toString needs paren after it. There we go. Okay. Now I can grab all this, because otherwise it was found. Else, and now we got too many curlies because of my copy job. All right, let's move this over. Here we said was not found, and here we'll say was found. And unless I'm mistaken, I think we're finished. So, getting rid of some of the extraneous white space I have in here. So it ended up being 315 approximately lines in length. 316 it looks like. So let's go back and try everything. All right, we have numbers. We can clear it and put in new numbers. That works. All right, looks like 6 and 7 are our smallest. Yup. Now it looks like 93, 96 and some 93s. Yep. Let's see. The sum, again, should be somewhere around 1250. Wow, it is exactly 1250. The average then should be 50. That doesn't happen often. The smallest is 6. The largest is 96. The median, the one in the middle, and that we did that on when we sorted in ascending. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 should be 53. The range should be 96 minus 6, which is 90. And finally, for our search, there it is. So I do have to move this over a little bit, but that's not a problem. So the thing to search for, well, let's search for something that's not in there. 1. Search value not found. The value 1 was not found in the array. Let's do it again and search for something that is there. All right, 54. The value 54 was found in the array. All right, so the only thing I've got left to do is to jack with these numbers here. So it needs to be moved over and moved down. So let's try to make this 500. And let's make this 750. I don't know. Again, I'm flying by the seat of my pants right here. All I'm trying to do is, whoa, that wasn't too bad. I'm leaving it right there. So I'm finished. All right. That's all I'm going to do for today. When I pick it up next time, which will be soon, but when I pick it up next time, what I am going to do is finish up with 9 and 10. All right. And after that, as you can guess, I'm going to run it here. This will take more time. These will be, especially 12 through 14 will be longer lectures. 18 will be a long lecture. And most of these will be long lectures. When I say long, I mean multiple part lectures. Okay. So I'll be back soon.